Hey YouTube, here we are on day 3 of the build. So far I got the crank in, got the pistons and connecting rods in, and we're just going in reverse in the book here. I've already put in the oil pump because that was very simple. It's just a gasket comes with it. It only goes on one way, so you can't really mess that up. Put that on. I don't have those torqued down yet, I just have it on there, and then I'll torque it down before anything gets in the way. So the next thing the book tells me to do is removing the crank gear. So we're going to go in reverse and put the crank gear back on. And the gear only goes on one way. It'll fit on both ways, but you have to remember when I took this apart, it has some light on it. That indicating mark right there. That lines up with the other gears, so that faces the outside. And the inside has got a taper on the inside there. And this is just flat across. So we're going to go ahead and install that. So if you remember when I took this gear off, needed a puller to take it off, and we're not going to need a puller this time. We're not going to need to press it on this time, but you definitely are you're going to have to persuade it a little bit. And the way we're going to do that is I'm just going to take a rubber mallet and I'm just going to smack on this a little bit, and we'll get it to go on. I'm going to need 2 hands, but I'll show you that when I'm done. Alright, to install this camshaft, I needed to put a little bit of lube on that bearing because it's a tight fit. And once you get it lined up, couple of cracks with a rubber mallet on the end here, and it slides right in. So before I get it all the way through, I'm gonna get that fork and put it on here and see what we got to do. So I'm gonna need a couple of hands for that, so I'll get back to you in a second. Okay, now the fuel camshaft is almost installed. I got the bearing started in the back of the block, just started, and that way with the fork hooked up, there's a pin down here, and then that bolts to it. But you can't get to these. Well, if I pull this gear off, I could get to these bolts, but I didn't pull the gear off. So now with it out this far, I can put the bolts in, get them started, and then get the camshaft all the way in. So I'm gonna install these bolts here, get it started, and then we'll drive it the rest of the way home. Okay, with the bolts installed and tightened down, I have some lube on both of these bearing surfaces. They slide in. It's a little tight on the block, but a couple of whacks, rubber mallet, and it seats right on there real nice. So now that's on, and for the fuel pump and everything. So that's all together. And now the next thing on the list is alright, so it looks like the idler gear, oh no, sorry, the fuel feed pump. So that is on the side here. So is that what we're doing? Oh, the fuel feed pump goes right here. So I'm sure there's a gasket for that. We'll get the gasket out and get the pump, and we'll be right back. Alright, now that the feed pump is back in, it just takes a gasket, a couple of bolts, and a holder bolts it to the block. Just have that all loosely fit right now. And then the next thing we're going to go and put in is the idle gear and camshaft. So I'm going to read these instructions here. Okay, so this is where we have to align the marks. Should be 2 marks on this one. There's a mark on this one. 2, I think, right? I don't know, I gotta get some light on it, clean it up, and see what we got. But let me get to this in a second. Alright, with plenty of assembly lube, the camshaft goes in quite easy. Just got to make sure you line it up. It's hard to do with one hand, but You just get that right in there. So now the camshaft is in. Let's see, where are the marks? Right at my thumb here, there's 3 marks. See them in a little triangle. Over on the camshaft, there's 2 marks. And on this gear down here, there's 1 mark. So I'm gonna turn over till this mark is facing up, and because I can still move these by hand. And then we'll put in the what gear is that? We can put in the idle gear. The idle gear will have corresponding marks to match up with those. So let me go get the idle gear and we'll get to work on that. Alright, a couple things I forgot before I go ahead and put this idle gear on. The idle gear has this shaft that it's got to go on, bolts to the block. And as you can see, it only goes on one way. That hole's lined up, that one's off a little bit, and that one's way off. So I'm gonna pop this out and put it on the right way. Also, on the fuel camshaft, there's this retainer, and it just goes on with these 2 12mm bolts. It's pretty simple. You can put it on after this is all installed. You can fit your hand in there and put that on. So don't forget to put those on, and then tighten these down. And then for this thing here, let's see, this looks like the right direction. Nope, that's not it either. We're on one more time. Alright, okay, all 3 holes line up there. I put a little bit of assembly lube behind this washer here, and I'm going to put some more assembly lube on here, and then we'll slide that idle gear on. I've already lined up the holes where they need to, or the indication points where they need to go in here. And now I will tighten this down, tighten those down, install that idle gear. So I'll be right back. Alright, I got these on now. The marks all line up. Those 3 there. Those 2 there. And then the 1 right there. So they line up where they gotta go. And moving on to the next part, which is the crankshaft collar and oil slinger. This is the collar, it's the oil slinger, and then it had this O-ring in it, and the kit comes with a new one. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on, and this washer and C-clip goes on here. So put those together, be right back. But before I can install this circlip, I needed to get my pliers, and someone left them out in the snow, and they got all rusty and corroded and broken. So they're useless, but look what just came in the mail today. Another set. So get these out of the box and we'll get this clip back installed. I've been struggling with a small pair of needle nose that I filed the tips down to work until I got this. But man, what a difference it makes when you have the right tool. These little guys here from Channel Lock, they're outside. When you flip the button, they go inside. You squeeze them, they go tight. Flip the button, you squeeze them, they come out. So these are really, really good little circlip installers. Come with a bag full of tips, different kind of tips, little right angle ones and skinnier ones and fatter ones for doing all sorts of clips. So good little tool. Hopefully they don't get left out in the snow anymore. Hopefully we don't have any more snow this year, but we'll see. Alright, so moving right along. These are all installed. I got everything going on here. And next in the book seems to be the gear case assembly. So let me go pull that case out here and we'll look at the inside of it and see what O-rings we need to change. Oh, that sucked bad. I just lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bolts in my oil bucket and antifreeze bucket. Oh, 5 bolts. There's 2. I gotta get a magnet. Hopefully I won't drop the camera in there. One. Great. I think that's it. Alright, so there's 4 more in here. Oh, it's sludgy at the bottom. Ooh, I think I got one. Yeah. There's one. Okay. Let me okay, 3 more. Oh, I think I got one. Yep. Hey, at least they're lubed up. What do I need? 2 more? Oh man, it is mushy down there. Oh, is this one? Nope. Oh boy. Oh, that feels like one. Oh, it's stuck. Stuck in the mush. Come on. Oh, come on. What the hell's all this stuff? Oh boy. Oh, I know what that is. Oh, gross. Okay, I'm not looking for that. Here's a bolt. Gotta get it unstuck. Come on. I'm not putting my hand in here. Oh man, it's nasty in there. Ah, crap. I'm putting my hand in here. I gotta get some long gloves. I'll be back. Alright, well I searched all through that bucket and I have nothing. I know I'm missing at least one because this is all shiny here. I think this is where my alternator bracket goes, and I know only one of these holes is used. So I think there's like a little spacer here and then the bolt runs through it, so I don't think I'm missing that one. Just this one. I probably should have taken all these bolts out when I took this cover away, but I just didn't want to get them mixed up. But it turns out you can't really mix them up, because if you just look at the height of everything, all the bolts stick out the same from everywhere. So you know, the tallest bolts go here, then the second tallest bolts go here, and the shortest ones go here. So I'm gonna pull all these out, get all this gasket material off, flip this thing over, and change out this this seal, and there's some O-rings and stuff. So I'll get that cleaned up and get ready to put it in. Alright, I got the mating surface for this gasket all cleaned up. That goes on a bit later, but pulled this old seal out and installed the new one. And then I cleaned up this mating surface for the gasket. I'm looking in my kit and I don't see this rubber O-ring, seal, whatever it is anywhere. I gotta look around for it more. But these 3 O-rings are in the kit, and I'm gonna pop these 2 out and put the 3 back in, and then we'll get ready to put this on. Alright, well that is going to be it for the day. I have to take my wife in to get LASIK surgery in about an hour. This gasket, I don't know, it's kind of weird how it fit. All the holes line up, but like this hole here is larger than these 2, and I don't know what that's for. Probably won't. I don't know if, I mean, it's got to be the right gasket, but I don't know how. I'll figure it out once it goes on. Everything over here has been tightened up. All these 12mm bolts have been tightened up. Everything is all lubed up. The marks are all in line, so everything's good to go here. I put a pair of vice grips on the on the crank and turn it over a couple times, and it turns over nice and smooth. Everything's good to go. Oh, I don't think I torqued these yet. I'm gonna check those and torque those. But that's gonna do it for today. So tomorrow I'll get back out here and we'll get that cover on and we'll go there. So until next time, thanks for watching.